We have pricing and updates for the 2025 Lexus TX three-row crossover that just came off of stop sale late October. It was on stop sale for many, many months, along with its assembly line partner, the Toyota Grand Highlander. They had an airbag issue that if the windows were rolled down, that the curtain airbag would seep out, and then as a result would increase the likelihood of the head of the driver to go into a dangerous place. I'll just say that. I don't need to be more graphic. Now, this vehicle, when I first saw this announced for Lexus, I'm like, this is in some ways the missing link. The missing link for Lexus to be a true MDX fighter, a QX60 fighter, a true three-row luxury player that didn't have the restrictions that a body-on-frame vehicle does, like the GX and the LX. And as important of a vehicle this is for the brand, there's weaknesses to it. You know, Lexus has not hit a home run with this vehicle in terms of pricing, in terms of packaging. Has that changed for 2025? Well, we're gonna find out. Lexus has needed a three-row crossover so bad in their lineup for years. Now it's here, and I am disappointed. Why am I disappointed? Well, you'll see when we compare it to the Grand Highlander and where the pricing has gone. But there's actually something that's changed here for 2025. So what have they updated? Well, they have now given F Sport handling to the TX 350 grade. I don't recommend the TX 350. And I'll talk more about that when I go over the pricing, all right? Also, the 12.3-inch screen behind the steering wheel, the multi-informational display, is standard on the TX 350 models. That's good to see. All right, powertrains are unchanged, and it looks like the packaging is unchanged. Lexus Safety System Plus 3.0 on all 2025 models, starting MSRP now $56,490. All right, so let's look at the pricing from last year to this year. We see massive increases on the price on the entry-level models. What do you get for that? Well, you get the updated display, which should have been standard to begin with. So you have that going for it, but $1,440 for the increase on the 350 front wheel drive and all wheel drive. The TX and pretty much all Lexus crossovers, in my opinion. I mean, you're a luxury brand. Why aren't you standard all wheel drive? It's not like front wheel drive is luxurious. Rear wheel drive is luxurious. Front wheel drive, comes off cheap to me. Now, I'm having the mindset right now of a luxury buyer. The front wheel drives for such a premium vehicle, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, okay? Now, what about the powertrains themselves? Well, I have never recommended the 350 on it. The 350, the 2.4 turbo, 275 horsepower or so, 317 pound-feet of torque, made it to the 8-speed auto. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine for a mass market vehicle, but it's not. The engine's not refined or smooth enough to be in a Lexus, in my opinion. All right, there's no replacing the smoothness of a V6, and that's what this vehicle lacks, at least on the base powertrain. So as a result, I've always recommended the hybrids for the Lexus TX. Okay, so if we look at the TX, 500h, well, you don't have a lot of options here, as you guys see. It's all-wheel drive standard on the hybrid, which is fine. That's what I want. There should be an entry-level price here. Okay, look, you have the base models here with the base powertrain, but you don't have the upgraded powertrain with the base trim. And I think that's what it needs, all right? The plug-in hybrid I still haven't driven. I will try to get it on the channel as a press vehicle as soon as possible. This vehicle I really, really, really want to test out because I haven't tested a Toyota or Lexus V6 plug-in hybrid yet. And so I can recommend this. I'll go out on a limb and say this is the best powertrain for the TX. It's also by far the most expensive. It has gone up $500, but there's no other vehicle other than $170,000 Toyota Century SUV that has this powertrain. Okay, so I think you're getting a Century powertrain for half the price here, essentially. Okay, so I recommend this, even though it's the most expensive, and I recommend the hybrids. But it's just the hybrids I struggle with, because this should be the base powertrain. I'll just say that. The 500h should be the base powertrain because I don't believe in the 2.4 being good enough for the Lexus TX. All right, it's just not smooth enough or refined enough. It's not fuel efficient. So I have the Lexus TX's under-badged brother that comes off the same assembly line at the Indiana West plant. This is the Grand Highlander, and I have the pricing here on the Grand Highlander. Even though the Grand Highlander has got more expensive compared to the 24 model, it is still a far better buy. You might be saying, Kirk, the Toyota model is always a better buy than the Lexus counterpart. Yes, I would, of course. It's more value for transportation, right? Lexus is a luxury brand. You shouldn't be comparing it. But I have to. They're on the same assembly line. And it's essentially the same vehicle. They share the same door panels, okay? It's not like we're talking about an ES to an Avalon. Very similar vehicles. Rest in peace, Avalon. But you can tell when you look at these two vehicles side by side that they're essentially the same car, okay? And like the TX, I recommend the hybrids on the Grand Highlander over the turbo. Turbo is not very efficient. Maybe you get 20 to 25 miles per gallon, something like that, where the hybrid starts at 35 miles per gallon. Okay, and now you can get the hybrid on the LE, but the LE is a bad buy because you can see it's only about $1,000 more to get the XLE. Front wheel drive. All right. For some reason, Toyota doesn't give us the option of front wheel drive hybrid LE. They're just trying to cash in on the desirability of the hybrid. Okay. So the LEs here are new for 2025 on the Grand Highlander, as well as the Nightshade here. Now, once we look at the upgraded powertrains, the Hybrid Maxes here, you can get a fully decked out Grand Highlander for $60,000, okay, including destination. I included destination on all these prices. $60,000. This is going to compete feature-wise to an extent with the luxury 500h from Lexus. Same exact powertrain, 366 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque, somewhere in there. Same powertrain. It has a 2.4 turbo, but since it's hybridized, it's far smoother, far more enjoyable experience. And that engine turns off a lot because it's a hybrid. So you're not always reminded with, sometimes of the buzzy nature of that. Anyways, so we look at the price increase here. Guys, we're talking about a $13,000 price increase for the Lexus badge. Yes, you get slightly nicer materials on the inside. I will give it that. But the TX's interior is not impressive by any means. And here's the kicker that pushes me towards the Grand Highlander. Their hybrids have 7 to 8 seats. If you get a hybrid on the TX, this massive crossover, they restrict you to 6 seats. That's lunacy, in my opinion. Families and grandparents who want to bring their grandkids around, etc., have been waiting for a huge Lexus crossover, but the most desirable ones are limited to 6 seats instead of 7. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I really struggle with the Lexus TX compared to the Grand Highlander. Grand Highlander isn't quite as smooth. It isn't quite as quiet, but you get the option of a 35 mile per gallon hybrid. You get the option of getting the same upscale powertrain as the TX has with the 500h, with the Hybrid Max, same thing, just different brands. You get it for 13 grand less when you compare trim to trim. Now, of course, the TX will have Mark Levinson, and Mark Levinson is, it's a fantastic sound system. The Grand Highlander's JBL isn't going to sound anywhere close to the same level. All right, so there's some benefits there for the TX over but not 13 grand benefit. There's nothing that makes sense to me. The styling, in my opinion, is better on the Grand Highlander compared to the Lexus TX as well. All right, I'm not a big fan of the TX. Of its looks anyways. There's too many lines going on. It's too busy. Let's compare the premium 500h TX to the Hybrid Max Limited. They're going to be very similarly equipped. Almost a 14 grand difference. All right. So even a better, more compelling option on the Hybrid Max Limited compared to the 500h Premium. Again, I believe the plug-in hybrid's worth it because you can't get it on a Toyota whatsoever with the V6 plug-in hybrid, and it's featured in an ultra luxury Century, which is pretty cool. So without 7 seats in the hybrids and with a less than desirable entry-level powertrain, for the TX, it's hard to justify the price increase, let alone from last year, but also the price increase over the Toyota identical, at least when it comes to the bones. I'm not talking about, quality materials, sound insulation, NVH. The TX will beat it there, but it's not worth 13 to 14 grand more in any world that I live in. All right. I'll see you guys in the comments below on the 25 Toyota Grand Highlander and Lexus TX. Things are getting more expensive, and that I feel like could push some potential Lexus buyers to the mainstream model when you're getting so much better value and getting 95+% of the same vehicle compared to the Lexus TX, maybe even more than 95%. We're probably talking 99% of the same feel. If you're looking at a TX 350, look at this. A front wheel drive TX 350 costs more than the Hybrid Max Limited Grand Highlander, which has about 100 more horsepower, a crap ton more torque, and it's far more efficient, smooth, and refined than this junk front wheel drive TX. Anyways, I am on fire. You guys, why do I get so fired up? I used to sell for Lexus, all right? And so when I was a salesman for Lexus, this vehicle is what I needed as a salesman. I was losing sales to the MDX, the Q7s, the QX60s. I was losing sales because the GX and the LX were either too expensive or not accommodating enough for families, or both. And so here comes this vehicle. This is the answer. Well, now it doesn't accommodate 7 people when you want the better powertrains. Anyways, I got to cut myself off. Thank you guys for watching. I am fired up. I woke up a little bit fired up today. That's just the mood I'm in. So unfortunately, the TX had to get the wrath of my waking up on the wrong side of the bed today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the comments. Peace out.